Welcome everyone to the regular council meeting of July 21st, 2026. Just a few housekeeping reminders today. Members of the media may sit in the upper balcony at the reserved media table. All other guests, please take a seat in the first floor gallery. If that is full, there's an overflow seating on the second floor in the Victoria Room where you'll be able to see and hear the meeting. We live stream the meeting on our YouTube channel and the recording is available after the meeting. This meeting is also broadcast live on your TV, Cogeco subscribers, Channel 10, HD Channel 700, and rebroadcasted on Wednesday at 9 a.m. and on Saturday at noon. Because meetings are accessible to the public in all these ways, video or audio recordings by members of public is not permitted in council chambers. This is to ensure that all attendees and those who come to make our deputation feel at ease. Thank you very much for your cooperation. And today we have on Zoom Mayor Elmsley, Councillor Yeo, and Councillor Perry. Welcome. What we'll do right now is we'll move into our O Canada, so please join me and
the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
thank you. Please join me in a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. We'll move into 2.3, the adoption of the open session agenda. I believe you have that, Councillor McDonald.
Yes, I do, through you. Moved by myself, seconded by Mark Doble, that the agenda of the open session of the regular council meeting Tuesday, July 21st, 2026 be adopted and circulated with the following amendments. The addition of at 6.6 being a deputation by Nicholas Dell of Harper Dell and Associates regarding a zoning bylaw amendment of 89 McKelvey Road related to item 9.3.6 on the agenda. And deletions, we have two. Item 6.1 being a deputation of Ren Gazet of David Ranch Resort regarding investment of the Kawartha Lakes tourism. And item 6.4 being a deputation by Kent Randall, Rick Kuiper of Ecoview Consulting Services regarding request of the municipal support resolution for the 3MW hydroelectric plant on Burnt River, Somerville.
Thank you. And all in favor? That passes. Thank you. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest at this time? I don't see any. We will move right into notices of information by members of council and staff. So, thank you. Councillor Doble.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. This coming Sunday, July the 26th, is the annual Lindsay Milk Run featuring a 5K, a 10K, and a 500-meter kids fun run. The various runs start at the Lindsay Rec Complex at 133 Adelaide Street South, with the 10K starting at 8, the Kids Fun Run at 8:10, and the 5K at 8:25. This annual run through the streets of Lindsay was first established in 1978 and has run for 43 years. It's an exciting day and a way to enjoy a summer day in Lindsay. The Lindsay Milk Run supports community health, physical fitness, and local recreation, and brings together families and runners of all ages while providing high school volunteer hours for youth. I am pleased to announce that both the 5K and 10K runs are sold out, which means, of course, that I can't be pressured or shamed into running myself, but I plan to be there at the start to cheer everyone on, and thanks to our Parks and Recreation Division. I am told that plans for next year's run start the very next day following the milk run. It's a lot of organizing and work. This Thursday to Sunday, July 23rd to 26th at the Academy Theatre. From the team that brought you 20 years of dazzling musical entertainment for the first time in Lindsay, Triple Threat Theatre brings the beloved Broadway hit Shrek the Musical, following everyone's favorite grumpy but lovable ogre on a wildly hilarious adventure. Directed by Alana Culver and Claire Williams and starring Lindsay's well-known Nicholas Higgs, Tom Culver, and Sophia Mackey, showtimes are at 7:30 each evening from Thursday through Saturday, with 2 p.m. matinee performances on Saturday and Sunday. And speaking of golf, the 32nd annual Jeff Bookaboom Charity Classic will be held August 6th at Black Diamond Golf Club. This event supports BGC Kawartha Foundation, and you can register through BGC. Deputy Mayor, there is much happening in Kawartha Lakes this summer, concerts in the park and other very worthy community events, and I'm not able to mention all of them. However, I would just close my remarks with a reminder to let's be safe as we rest and recreate in the Kawartha Lakes this summer. For those folks who enjoy a nice summer beverage, please be responsible. And for those enjoying our beautiful waterways throughout our great city, please take the necessary precautions so that we are all able to look back with fond family memories on the summer of 2026. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Warren.
Through you, Deputy Mayor, I'd like to invite everybody to our incredible music in the park, both in Bobcaygeon and Kinmont. So you've got to pick. They're both on Thursday nights at 6:30, so I'm trying to get to both when I can. Also, on August 1st, we have Midnight Madness in Bobcaygeon, and it starts at 7 and goes to 11, and it's always a really exciting event. There's something for everybody, all family participants. So I hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Ashmore.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I have a few announcements. Just wanted to congratulate the Lakeview Arts Barn for their 23rd season opener, and it was a great night, and some of our members of council were here attending it, and many people. So this venue is a world-class venue, and just hats off to the Lakeview Arts Barn and Globus Theatre for all they do for our community. It's an incredible venue, so that was great. Wanted to mention about a great Canadian who passed away, and he had a Kawartha Lakes connection. Tommy Hunter passed away on July 2nd of this year. He was Canada's country gentleman. Tommy actually had a connection with the Omimi Legion. He was a great supporter of the Omimi Legion. He also, in 1985, he had a benefit concert which basically saved the Flato Academy Theatre before it was actually designated an historical building. And if it wasn't for Tommy Hunter, which is now named the Tommy Hunter Stage, it really was a great savior for that theatre. So I want to thank Tommy Hunter and on his incredible life, great Canadian. I'd also like to thank the many sponsors of the Downeyville Hall have their annual golf tournament, and there's almost 100 sponsors that sponsor this event and keep this fundraising effort going. There's about 5, I think they're in stage 6 of the renovation of the Downeyville Hall. It's an incredible building, historical building, but it's an ultra-modern building now with many modern facilities inside it, so that's great. We had that, they had that just recently. And finally, the Centennial Beach, which is located on County Road 24 between Dunsford and Bobcaygeon. It is just about finished its reconstruction, and if you're ever in the area driving from Dunsford area to Bobcaygeon along Sturgeon Lake on County Road 24, drop in to see this newly renovated, reconstructed park. It certainly looks very nice, so that's it. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you very much. Councillor McDonald.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Got a few things here today. First of all, I'd like to start off, I sit on the Victoria Plowmen's Association. So on August 30th at the farm of Paul and Donna Starr at 384 Eldon Road in Woodville, there will be their annual Victoria County plowing match. So at this time, I'd like to challenge Councillor Joyce. Actually, I don't think he's on right now, but this is his ward, and the mayor and the rest of council, if you are available, for a 2-length plowing match, 2-furrow plowing match. So I'm kind of competitive, so please bring your game if anybody's interested. So please let me know, and then I'll know how many tractors we need to get set up for that day. On July 23rd, Lindsay Home Hardware and on Lindsay Street South are teaming up again with the Kinsman Club for their annual Christmas in July toy drive. This is a great fundraiser to provide gifts to children in the Kawartha Lakes. There's a free barbecue starting around 11 o'clock till 1. Also, there's a dunk tank, which I have volunteered to go on, so if you guys want to come down and around noon, you can have a chance to see me get dunked, and I'm sure that most of you would probably be really happy to see that. So anyway, come on down, have a lot of fun, and support that. Last week I had the opportunity to welcome 50 new volunteers to join our volunteer firefighters. 50 people just joined, so I think that's simply amazing. Volunteer firemen play an important role in keeping our community safe from fire and other hazards, so thank you for joining our team. Just the other day, on July 17th, the Lindsay Legion had a pig roast to celebrate their 100th anniversary. The place was completely full. Unfortunately, they were planning a flyby, but due to the weather and so on, it was canceled, but they will be trying again in October, so stay tuned for the date for that. So. I got, Councillor Joyce was not available here today because unfortunately he's in BC to his father's celebration of life, so he asked me to say a few things, so condolences to his family. First thing he wanted me to mention was the Woodville Family Festival was July 3rd and 4th, was a great success. They had lots of food, options, vendors, selling unique items made in Kawartha Lakes, and by the day it was really all about families and their kids having a fantastic day. And I know it wouldn't be fair, he said, that if take this time to get an update on the library board, and I know everybody would like me to read this. So the library staff continues to keep children and their families engaged in a wide variety of free programs taking place across all 14 library branches. As part of the Dive-In Summer Reading Club, library staff is leading hands-on lake-themed activities inspired by our local waterways, including Pigeon Lake, Balsam Lake bent wire fish sculpture, Cameron Lake craft duck, Mitchell Lake model magic, shell ornaments, Head Lake hand puppet, Sturgeon Lake salt painting. So as you can see, there's many things that are happening. So there's also several exciting special events coming up. Tomorrow, July 22nd, the library is partnering with the City Kawartha Lake Transit to present this popular Wheels on the Bus story time, where families will enjoy stories and songs about things that go while taking a special bus ride through Lindsay. Then on July 27th, Bobcaygeon Branch will welcoming the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters for a family-friendly program exploring invasion species threatening our local waterways and what we can all do to help protect our lakes. Finally, the Turtle Guardians will be visiting 6 library branches in the coming weeks with the amazing presentation about turtles, and they live in our local lakes and rivers, and we can do what we can do to protect them in their habitat. So anyway, lots going on in the library. So there was 4 other pages, but I've just kind of cut it down to what that was, okay? Last but not least, but on some sad news, on July 1st, we lost a resident, a business leader, and a community builder, and also a friend, Donnie Brown. In 1992, Donnie was a co-founder of Mariposa Electric Limited and had only 2 employees. He now has 35. 2015, Donnie helped bring the Lindsay the first hotel, the Days Inn and Suites, and also the Pie-Eyed Monk Brewery Company, and most recently, the Best Western. 2019, Donnie was recognized with the Business Leader of the Year award presented by the Lindsay Chamber of Commerce. Donnie passed away, and he's leaving his business to his son Dylan to carry on his legacy. So he will be missed by our community, his family and friends. So rest in peace, Donnie. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Yeo.
Thank you, and through you, Madam Chair. I think we had a great turnout in Norland last week for the Norland Summer Festival. To thank the mayor for coming down. Although we didn't see each other, we know he was there for the tractor pull, and greatly appreciated by the local people for his presence. There's lots of pancake breakfast and stuff coming up on the long weekend in Coboconk and Norland at the church, and upcoming golf tournament for the Land Between Garden at Ward Park. It is in September 21st. Anybody interested in sponsoring or playing on that, they can contact me. I'll have more information at the August meeting as well, but it's September 21st, and they're looking for sponsors and golfers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mayor Elmsley.
There we go. Last week, Thursday and Friday, the CAO and I attended EOWC meeting in Kingston. The meeting essentially was to get ready for AMO and the deputations at AMO, and they also elected a new vice chair, and he is from Prescott Russell. The bulk of the meeting was taken up by a presentation from Alto, and I'd have to say that the Warden's Caucus held Alto's feet to the fire on a number of issues that have been of interest to everyone in Central and Eastern Ontario, including where is the business plan? How are you going to do the route now that you're supposed to change it to go from Peterborough to Kingston and back to Ottawa? What's that going to look like? And all of the other issues that have been raised since Alto came forward, they were very cooperative, and the meeting was very civil, and a lot of information was passed back and forth. And one of the things that really stuck out was, why is there a need for a non-disclosure agreement? And it is really to protect proprietary information that Alto may have, but also in terms of the municipalities, should they have plans that they're not quite ready to unveil yet, or things that they may know about that are confidential from a business point of view or from businesses in their area that could affect how Alto moves forward. So we suggested that they perhaps relook at non-disclosure agreements and see if they couldn't make them more user-friendly in terms of not having the appearance of being secretive and hiding things from the public. They have agreed to go back and look and see what they can do. All in all, I felt the meeting was quite positive. They're looking forward to meeting with the Warden's Caucus. They also have committed to meeting with municipalities as they go forward. The initial thrust for Alto will be the Ottawa to Montreal connection. And that, I believe the CAO can correct me if I'm off on my timing, but that's going to be a 7 to 8 year project. So all in all, I think the total amount of time for this project to go forward is about 25 years. So there's a good long time that this will be going on. Of course, the item about purchase of land came up, and they are committed to trying to do it in the best way possible and at market value, I believe is what they said. So all in all, I felt it was a good representation by Alto and a good meeting, and lots of information was passed back and forth. And I think if anybody's interested, Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus will have a summary of the meeting up on their website. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, and that is important for that update, so we appreciate that. Is anything for you, Councillor Perry? Nope, nothing today. Okay, then I just have two quick announcements. This Saturday, July 25th, the 7th annual Gears Guts and Mud at Bethany Park, proudly hosted by the Bethany Athletic Society. Registration starts at 8. The race excitement starts at noon, followed by a fun day filled with local vendors, barbecue, and just a great community atmosphere. Also, just a reminder that this Saturday, July 25th, residents are invited to participate in the Roundup Days at Rolling Hills. All the list of accepted or non-accepted items are on our municipal website. And it's really incredible just to hear the events that are happening around the Kawartha Lakes. We don't have to go far to have some fun. And Councillor McDonald, I will take you up on your challenge because I too am competitive. Thank you. So do we have any announcements from staff today? Just went over to you, CAO.
Thank you, Chair, and through you, the Mayor mentioned the annual attendance at the Association of Municipalities of Ontario conference. It brings together all municipalities across the province, and it's our opportunity to get or request meetings with ministers and ministries. And one of the ministries that we will be visiting is the Solicitor General, and we'll be meeting with him directly on local policing costs that are associated with being a host for a correctional facility. And we are actually doing it as a follow-up from previous and in partnership with other host communities. So there seems to be a great momentum. So our friends in Kenora, Penetanguishene, and Napanee are going to come together with us to make that presentation at AMO. So that is confirmed. The other main topic of discussion, but it's ever-changing, is the development charges reduction program. The Mayor updated you at the last meeting. There is a likelihood that an announcement will be made prior to AMO on successful applications. We may need to collectively come back to you as council before that date to make some decisions, but we are trying to line up a meeting with the minister in that ministry to talk through the implementation and implications of that DC reduction program. So that's among all of the other ones that we're doing, as the Mayor mentioned, with our municipal partners, particularly in the East. So stay tuned, and we'll be happy to report back after that conference on any successes.
Thank you very much. Any other announcements at this time? Okay, I don't see any, so we'll move right into council minutes. If I can have a mover or seconder that the minutes of the special council meeting and regular council meeting on June 23rd, 2026 be received and adopted. Councillor Doble, Councillor Warren, all those in favor? And that passes. We'll move right into deputations. 6.2, the partnership agreement between the City of Kawartha Lakes and the Kawartha Art Gallery. Bring to the podium right now Susan Taylor and Dion Beard from Kawartha Art Gallery. Welcome, ladies. You have 5 minutes.
Good afternoon, Mayor Elmsley, Deputy Mayor Richardson, and members of council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. 3 years ago, council chose to invest in more than a public art gallery. Council chose to invest in the potential of the creative sector of the city of Kawartha Lakes. The investment created opportunities, and those opportunities continue to grow today. Despite delays in the gallery's move into 19 Cambridge Street, the gallery remained focused on strengthening organizational capacity, enhancing governance, building partnerships, attracting external funding, and creating opportunities that benefit residents throughout our municipality. Today, the gallery serves as more than a place where art is exhibited. It is a community institution that creates opportunities through art. The gallery's Artist Index program creates opportunities for artists to build professional visibility while showcasing the remarkable creative talent found throughout our region. Provincial recognition through a feature interview on CBC Radio demonstrated the innovation and broader relevance of this initiative. Curated Spaces creates opportunities for area businesses to support the cultural sector while bringing original artwork into workplaces and public settings across the community. Activate Kawartha creates opportunities for organizations, businesses, volunteers, sponsors, and community partners to work together in strengthening downtown Lindsay through coordinated event development, strategic fundraising, and investment in shared community infrastructure. Partnerships with the University of Toronto Glam Incubator and Community Care City of Kawartha Lakes create opportunities to improve health and well-being through a social prescription program, while the gallery's advocacy platforms call for equitable rural arts funding. Kawartha Art Gallery measures success not by the number of exhibits presented, but by the opportunities Council's investment has created. Opportunities for residents to connect, businesses to collaborate, volunteers to contribute, and for our communities to thrive. Today, Kawartha Art Gallery respectfully asks Council to renew this municipal partnership so that together we can continue creating opportunities for the residents of the city of Kawartha Lakes. I would now like to introduce Dion Beard, the gallery's bookkeeper, to demonstrate how the gallery intends to honor Council's investment through responsible financial management.
Good afternoon, Mayor Emsley, Deputy Mayor Richardson, and members of Council. Financial sustainability is fundamental to the long-term success of every community organization. Since the gallery presented its previous business case, the funding environment for arts and culture organizations has changed significantly. Provincial operating funding anticipated at that time did not materialize, while federal operating support has become increasingly limited and competitive. Like many rural organizations, the gallery has had to adapt. Rather than reducing programming or limiting community impact, the gallery focused on strengthening its financial foundation by increasing earned revenue and expanding partnerships. Members of Council, if I could direct your attention to the financial snapshot that has been provided. Rather than reviewing every line item, I'd like to highlight three numbers that tell the story of the gallery's financial strategy. First, the requested municipal partnership remains stable at $200,000 annually throughout the three-year partnership. Second, total organizational revenue is projected to grow from $351,000 in 2027 to $380,000 by 2029. Thirdly, there is a 0% increase in the requested municipal contribution over the three-year period. Those three numbers demonstrate a clear financial strategy, maintaining a stable municipal partnership while growing and diversifying every other source of revenue. Council's investment is far more than an operating contribution. It provides the stability that allows the gallery to attract additional funding, create new partnerships, expand programming, support local artists, and strengthen the long-term sustainability of the organization. Simply put, municipal investment is the foundation that makes every other opportunity possible. The Kawartha Art Gallery remains committed to prudent financial management, transparent governance, and accountability for every public dollar entrusted to it. On behalf of the Board of Governors, staff, volunteers, artists, members, donors, and community partners, thank you for your continued partnership and for your consideration of renewing this important municipal investment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If I can get a first and second for the deputation of Susan Taylor and Diane Beard of the Kawartha Art Gallery regarding partnership agreement between the City of Kawartha Lakes and Kawartha Art Gallery be received. Councillor Warren, Councillor Ashmore, and if there's any questions at this time, Councillor Doble.
Thank you, Susan and Dion, for making this presentation. I want to publicly thank the Art Gallery, the staff, and the volunteers for the fantastic work that you're doing. I'm very excited about all of your initiatives, but of course the move to the Cambridge Street location is imminent, and I've had the pleasure of a tour of the facility while under construction, but also your community initiatives, the new concert series that features many of our very talented local musicians, not to mention the support and promotion of our local artists. I'm pleased that the city supports your enterprise, and I'm especially encouraged that cultural development is coordinated with the City Economic Development Office. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. An investment in the arts is exactly that, an investment that pays real and immediate dividends to our city, including our commercial sector. So thank you very much for this. But I'm also struck by the fact when I read through the dashboard that the very fact that in an inflationary period of time, in a time where you are essentially expanding your reach, you're not increasing the demand for funds. You're asking for the same amount you've asked for in previous years. So I think that's a credit to the level of responsibility that you're taking with respect to this, and I want to congratulate you for that.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Doble. And Councillor Warren?
Through you, Deputy Mayor, and everything Councillor Doble said and more. And thank you for everything you do. You facilitate economic development, which, you know, we all need to thrive. So I want to thank you for everything you do, and hopefully we can have that partnership going forward.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
No other questions at this time? I think we all echo, we're pretty impressed to see the direction and the momentum that you do have going, so we're happy for you. Can I just we've already put a motion to receive, all in favor? And I do have a follow-up resolution, if I can get a first and second after this, that the Chief Administrator Officer be authorized to develop an extended multi-year partnership agreement with Kawartha Art Gallery, including future year operating funding, report back to Council with a draft agreement for consideration in Q1 2027. Mayor Elmsley, Councillor Yeo, all in favor? And that passes. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. We'll move into 6.3, which is the request for installation of coniferous trees on city-owned land located behind Primeau Crescent, relating to item 11.1 on the agenda. Jeff Van Giekel and Eric Finn, you have 5 minutes, sir.
Good afternoon, Mayor Elmsley and Councillor McDonald and the rest of council. My name is Jeff Van Ginkle. I'm here on behalf of my family and the rest of the negatively impacted residents on Primeau Crescent. Just a little historical background. When I purchased the home there, we were informed that the property behind the residence would be a 2-story retirement community. And, through, I guess, a site plan variance, we ended up finding out that a 6-story development was being put in behind or sandwiched in between the low-rise residential community, which has had substantial negative impact to our community, resulting in basically having our drapes and blinds closed for the majority of the day. We took this to the Ontario Land Tribunal, and I just want to thank City Council as well for supporting us on this. But in the end, the province sided with the developer, and I guess some of the closing comments were that the building would not have, I guess, the impact that the residents felt that it would have, and the situation, the layout of the building was nominal in comparison to our concerns. But things are different on paper versus on the ground, and now we're living with this condition. So I guess the developer site plan originally showed that there was a 1.5 meter concrete sidewalk within the city's right-of-way between the development and our backyards. And so, I guess the consensus of the community is that, we've already, been significantly impacted by the loss of privacy, as well as, I guess, our property values. I have a close friend who works in the real estate community, and they're talking somewhere in the $100,000 devaluation of the property due to this development. So, what I'm recommending or requesting, I guess, is that the city further assist to remedy the situation. I guess originally when we discovered the intention of the development behind us, the city did make recommendations to the developer to resituate the building, but the province had, I guess, sided with the developer who wanted the building resituated behind our backyards. So with that, we are requesting that the city help, I guess, retain some of the privacy that has been lost through the planting of coniferous trees, which would tie into the existing Victoria Rail Trail and help us recover some of the property value loss due to the development. And I've provided some pictures just to give you guys reference of the impacts to our community here. Some are from looking out from our bedroom and our living room, as well as, on our street. And the building's quite ominous. You can see it from every direction approaching the community, and it's, it just doesn't suit the community. So anyways, we're requesting some further assistance, and hopefully the council will be receptive. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Eric Finn. I'm one of the first purchasers in this Primeau Crescent development at 43 Primeau Crescent, which is the property at the corner of Logie Street and Primeau Crescent. And now backing on to the proposed development the built development of a 6-story apartment building. As Jeff has indicated, when all of the purchasers purchased their property at the initial stage when Bromont had built this community, they were provided with several documents, so one of which was a plan showing that while Bromont owned the property behind our homes, they were going to build a nice retirement, a 2-story retirement building, which, as a joke, people suggested to me it would be fine when I reached that point. I could easily move next door. At that point in time, what was proposed behind our properties, as shown on the plan of subdivision, was a block of land, block 28, that was to be transferred to the city and was transferred by Bromont to the city. And that was to provide for a 1.5 concrete walkway. Now, at the time when you're thinking there's going to be a 2-story retirement community next door to you, a walkway leading from Logie Street to the railway trail at the rear of our properties was not offensive and seemed very convenient. And now, of course, Bromont sold the property to a developer who's built a 6-story apartment building. And we're faced with looking at this building that you see in the pictures, which, by the way, has 46 apartment units looking at us through their windows and their balconies. In addition, the plan of the developer provides immediately behind my property an entertainment patio, which will probably be used for socializing. But not having mentioned that, my neighbors, to my view, are in a worse condition, having a pickleball court behind their property, or a garbage pickup, or a dog run. Not that I have anything against dogs, but it shows you how this whole development with 46 units and all of these activities going on is going to be substantially different than a two-story retirement building. So what we are asking for today is that the city consider its plans for the use of this Block 28 behind the properties that back onto the apartment building. And in particular, that they not consider a walkway or a pathway leading from Logie to the trail, but rather consider something more attractive, more convenient, as a coniferous stand of trees, which will provide some privacy and, as I say, will be more attractive. And just as a closing comment, there at this stage does not need to be a path going through from Logie to the railway trail, because the city has already installed a walkway on Deacon Crescent, which is the adjacent street. On the other side of this development, there is a walkway from Deacon to the trail. And as well, there are other connections to the trail, but that's the most convenient. And there's no need to have a connection on either side of the property. So this block of land that the city owns is ripe to be used for something that's attractive. You have across the street probably the nicest park in Lindsay. It's a beautiful park, and it's now faced with this 6-story apartment building where people look straight at it. And for those of you, I know in elections...
Can I get you just to wrap up, Mr. Finn? Sorry.
Sure. I was just going to say, for those of you planning on running in an election this year, either as councillors or for mayor, if you're campaigning in the South End, you are going to be faced with a lot of questions about how this 6-story apartment building has ruined this area for residential purposes. Thank you very much again, and I'm sorry for taking so much time.
Thank you very much. If I can get a first and second that the deputation of Jeff Van Ginkel and Eric Finn regarding the request for the installation of coniferous trees on city-owned land located behind Primeau Crescent be received. Councillor McDonald, Mayor Elmsley, and any questions at this time from council? Councillor McDonald?
Yeah, thank you, Deputy Mayor. Yes, thanks, Jeff and Eric, coming today. Been with you on this trip for 4 years. I think it was my first day on the job, I think, when we started this. We gave it a good go at OLT, but unfortunately we lost. I understand your pain, and I understand what you're going through. I will be addressing this with your petition at 11.1 and make a recommendation at that point, and we'll see what goes from there.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Warren?
Through you, Deputy Mayor, and I believe Councillor McDonald, that was one of the first things you did, was take me over to where the development was, and I thought that is really bad planning, so I can't believe that that's happened, and I hope this can be remedied. I have a spruce tree on the front of my lawn that's probably 60 feet high, so maybe we can envision something like that. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thanks.
Any other questions at this time? We have a mover and a seconder. All in favor? And that moves. Thank you very much. And as Councillor McDonald said, it will be later in the agenda as well, where he will speak to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We can go into 6.5, zoning bylaw amendment for 89 McKelvey Road relating to item 9.3.5 of the agenda. Rosemary Finn, I believe she is on Zoom. You have 2.5 minutes as you had spoken at our Planning Advisory Committee.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor Elmsley, Chair Richardson, Councillor and staff. The recommendation does not meet any of the 4 stress tests. 89. The illegally altered duplex is not minor in nature. Zoning bylaw from 9414 should not be used in a way to exempt people arbitrarily creating an additional home without permits and at any time on officially designated for one residential lot. Fractional ownership is not a tool for making a one shared dwelling into 2 legal dwellings, slippery slope, and a Pandora's box. Prior to 2010 and 14, there's little historical documentation of the illegal alteration, adds additional traffic to the road. It has been an issue for many years. Applicant's picture of the structure is misleading. The west lot has restricted access for EMS or septic cleanout, not the case in any other lot on the road. The conversion of it doesn't meet the OBC. Planner reports says she's reached out to the various agencies. No reply, comment, or responses from vital agencies should not imply that all is okay. The planner has not come out to the property. Not appropriate for desired or intended use of the land. It's not sufficient for 2 dwellings. Now there is very little green space for recreation, not intended for parking for 2 families and their guests. East part uses 90% of what was green space now, multi-parking. It leads to affordable year-round rental, limited garbage pickup, not for 2. The well is not intended for a dual family use. Structures and property stands out more since the removing of dozens of trees on a once well-treed lot. Not space for 2 dwellings. The reason it's not in the Plan 276. It's the only 2-story flat roof building around, and each has 2-door walkouts of 20-14-foot balconies with no railings, and the other with an unsafe railing. The smallest lot with the most density, not a plan for the future. If it were to be legalized and afterward one owner buys out the other partner or partners, the exclusive owner has now earned a 2 legal unit dwelling, which contradicts the intent of the application and the official plan which is in place, so this does not happen.
Can I get you to wrap up,
I gamble
Ms.
with this investment, and the region shouldn't be rewarding their risky investment, and the majority of owners opposed to it. In closing, please, how would any of you feel knowing that your whole life investment has been drastically reduced by the passing of this recommendation? If this is to pass today, please, what are the steps in place for the OBC to be looking at this, and who is liable in putting this in place? Please do not support this recommendation. It simply doesn't meet what we're looking for to be planning for the future. I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Can I get the deputation of Rosemary Finn regarding zoning bylaw amendment for 89 McKelvey Road be received? Councillor Warren, Councillor Perry. Do we have any questions at this time? Councillor Warren?
Just through you, Madam Deputy Mayor, maybe Leah Berry could just speak to this to let the rest of council know the background.
It's limited to the deputant on questions. Councillor Warren. Is there any other questions at this time? I don't see any. We have a mover and a seconder. All in favor? And we've received your deputation. Moving on to 6.6, the zoning bylaw amendment for 89 McKelvey Road relating to item 9.3.5 on the agenda. Nicholas Dell, Harper Dell and Associates. I believe you're on Zoom, and you two have 2.5 minutes to the Planning Advisory Committee before. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Nicholas Dell for the record. I'm a planner. I've been working with Leah, Kent, and people from third-party planning consulting firm that dealing with this application for a number of years. Certainly an interesting application in terms of its uniqueness, but I think that's also where we have the strength to defend against harmful precedent. I'm just here to be available to council should they have any additional questions. I do appreciate that there is an issue with, I think, the user, but I want to suggest to council that there's no issue with the use of this land. And it's always sad to see neighbors aren't happy with each other or enjoying them beside each other, but staff and myself feel that this is an appropriate application. It is rather a housekeeping matter to address a 40-year-old ongoing impact that I think is reasonable and is so unique that it preserves and defends itself from setting a slippery slope, as mentioned by the neighbor. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate this is a public process. I don't think I have anything further to add other than my thanks to staff for our help through this process. We came in upon request when there was a carport constructed without a permit, and this is when the can of worms, so to speak, was opened. And we're now here
It was
to
a
try.
garage.
Oh, thank you. Apologies. I'm describing a carport that was constructed without a permit, and that's what brought forward this application to what I'm going to call again a housekeeping amendment. So there's nothing further I'd like to add from a planning perspective. We've done quite a lot of work. I just wanted to thank staff for all their help, and I do recognize that they're supporting the application this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Dell. If I can get a mover or second for the deputation, Nicholas Dell, Harper Dell and Associates, regarding a zoning bylaw amendment for 89 McKelvey Road be received. First and second. Councillor Yeo, Mayor Elmsley, is there any questions at this time for the deputant? I don't see any. All in favor? And that passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move into 7 on the agenda, correspondence. Our first correspondence is the opposition to proposed conversion of the road allowance at Prince Street East between Ann Street and Front Street East, Bobcaygeon, into a parking lot from Chris Kemp and Lexi Kemp. And I believe, Councillor Warren, you wanted to speak to it?
Yeah, thank you, through you, Madam Deputy Reeve, our Mayor, sorry. Yes, I've been corresponding with these folks, and I brought forward staff to look at this piece of land, because it's a fairly big piece of land down by the water, whether or not that could be parking, because parking is a difficult problem around Front Street, but not to make more problems out of an idea. I agree with many of the points they have made, so I would receive this and forward it to staff for a report back.
Thank you. Is there any other questions at this time? Okay, I don't see any. Okay, so that the correspondence from Chris Kemp and Lexi Kemp regarding opposition to proposed conversion of the road allowance at Prince Street East between Ann Street and Front Street East, Bobcaygeon, into a parking lot be received by Councillor Warren, seconder Councillor Doble. All those in favor? What about this for follow-up? I'm just going to read it to you and you can tell me, okay?
Sure.
That the correspondence from Chris Kemp and Lexi Kemp regarding opposition to the proposed conversion of the road allowance at Prince Street East between Ann Street and Front Street East, Bobcaygeon, into a parking lot, refer to staff for review as part of the report back to council on the feasibility of the use of the lot as a parking lot, which mirrors your request from before. Thank you. So a first and second, Councillor Warren, seconder, Councillor McDonald, all those in favor? And that passes. Thank you. All right, we'll move into 7.2, which is CC 2026 20.7.2, request for a personal exemption for the bylaw to regulate animals in the city of Kawartha Lakes, from Michael Mosander. Everybody sees the, okay, Councillor Doble, you'd like to speak to it?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I would like to move that the correspondence from Michael Moisander regarding a request for an exemption from the bylaw to regulate animals in the city of Kawartha Lakes be received, and that the matter be referred to staff to investigate and report back to council as to the merits for or against the granting of an exemption, and also whether consideration should be given to removing savanna cats from the city's list of prohibited animals. I would like to speak to it if I get a seconder.
All right, so we will receive that the correspondence from Michael Mosander regarding a request for personal exemption for bylaw to regulate animals in the city of Kawartha Lakes be received, first by Councillor Doble, second by Councillor Warren, and you would like to speak to it?
Thank you. Mr. Moisander contacted me last week and explained his situation and shared his opinion that savanna cats should be allowed as house pets, especially as he will be keeping his cat inside and under control at all times, and as other municipalities in Ontario, such as the neighboring Durham region, apparently have no such restriction against those animals. He also connected me to the website of the International Cat Association, or TICA for short, and it is clear from this that Savannah cats are an interesting and unique breed. Savannah cats are currently registered as a prohibited breed in Schedule A of Bylaw 2021-072, being a bylaw to regulate animals in the city of Kawartha Lakes. I also spoke with a good friend of mine who is a small animal veterinarian in Durham region, and he has treated a few of these animals, so apparently they are legal in Durham region. And but however, I grew up on a farm that had dozens of barn cats around at all times. I don't profess to hold the necessary professional expertise really to make a decision on this, which is why I would refer this to our Animal Services Department and ask that they do some research and report back on this.
Thank you. And can I get all in favor to receive? And I have a follow-up resolution that I want to just put in front of you that you can consider at the time.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? And that passes. Okay, that the request for a personal exemption for the bylaw to regulate animals in the city of Kawartha Lakes for Michael Monsander be referred to staff for review and report back to the regular council meeting on August 25th, 2026, with the options available to grant a personal exemption from the bylaw to regulate animals in the city of Kawartha Lakes. Does that work for you? Moved by Councillor Dorable, seconded by Councillor McDonald. All those in favor? And that passes. Thank you. Okay, we are moving along here. We're moving right into presentations. So our first presentation, our only presentation today, is the Municipal and Tourism Wayfinding Strategy and Implementation presentation by Manager Mustard, Economic Development Officer Carly Arbor, and our associates from Sinis Design Group, which is Sarah Doe and Andrew Thompson. So I believe those two are on Zoom, so I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. It is good to be here. So today we're going to present to you the Municipal and Tourism Wayfinding Strategy. Thank you. So just as a little backgrounder, the municipality has entrance signs to the municipality. We have entrance signs to communities. And as you can see from this slide, many of you are very familiar with all of these signs that have been put up and replaced over a number of years. And in 2022, we started a conversation here at Council around how do we manage these signs well? How do we present them well? Because a sign is more than just a sign. A sign speaks to the community identity, it talks to community pride, it talks to placemaking and belonging. And so we have an opportunity here. And so, what we have been talking about is a coordinated, strategic approach to signs that we can manage really well. So next slide, thank you. So, as a background into this, as we discussed this and Council provided some direction that rather than going sign by sign, we would come together with a coordinated approach. We have in the 2025 special project budget and coming to you today a project to develop a signage and wayfinding strategy. So our team at Cygnus is going to walk you through what that strategy is. And we have to say thank you also to the Regional Tourism Organisation 8, which part funded this project as well, so that we could integrate into this an option for tourism wayfinding directional signage to really build out a comprehensive program for going forward. So the Cygnus Design Group started with us in 2025. The work that you're going to see walks through all of the strategies that have been a foundation for the work that you're seeing today. You can see here up on the screen, there's been a lot of work that has pointed to the need for a comprehensive system for wayfinding. This program also talks about long-term implementation around how we can strategically and thoughtfully put this in. And I want to give you some confidence that this firm that we've been working with, Cygnus Design Group, has been fantastic throughout this entire process. They came to us understanding what signs and wayfinding systems are, how they work as a function of moving residents and visitors around communities, engaging everybody and helping people find the places and the spaces and themselves in those spaces. They've worked with municipalities of various different sizes in urban and rural contexts. They understand accessibility and brought that lens to the project. And they also have been working with us and the community, as you'll find out, looking at both signs that you look at and use when you're in a vehicle and moving quickly, and then signs that you use to navigate to places as a pedestrian. So into that context, I'm going to introduce and turn you over to our consultants at Cygnus.
Thank you, Rebecca. My name is Sarah Doy, and I am joined here today with Andrew Tomstone on behalf of Cygnus Design Group. We've had the opportunity to work closely with the city and staff over the past several months to develop this municipal and tourism wayfinding strategy that we will be discussing today. Next slide. We began this project late last year, and from the very beginning, we wanted to ensure that the strategy was rooted in the experiences of the people who know Kawartha Lakes best. We also conducted our own 3-day site audit where we drove around, walked around, and really took stock of the existing wayfinding experience. Simultaneously, we held 3 in-person community workshops in Lindsay, Bethany, and Fenland Falls, where we invited the community at large to hear more about wayfinding and also give their feedback on how they saw this strategy developing and moving forward. We ran an online survey for about a month, and we had 111 participants. And then we also held 5 virtual sessions with community groups and staff members. So that really gave us a good understanding of existing strategies and procedures that could both influence the wayfinding strategy and benefit from the wayfinding strategy. Next slide. There were a few consistent themes that came through. The first is that Kawartha Lakes is really a community of communities. We like to ask people where the heart of their community is, and it was really encouraging to hear people say that they didn't really necessarily take it as an opportunity to promote their own community. They acknowledge that every community is unique and integral to the fabric of the municipality. There was a desire to maintain individuality, but also be woven into that regional identity. We also heard a lot of quietly incredible, which is the kind of slogan for the tourism brand. So again, it was really encouraging to hear that that was resonating with the community, and they really saw themselves being represented through that brand. Finally, we heard a lot about the hidden gems through the municipality, local businesses, attractions, and destinations that deserve greater visibility through better wayfinding. And that came from the perspective of residents wanting to share all of these assets with visitors and with people coming into the community, but also from the perspective of long-term residents who are still struggling to find some of these assets. Next slide. When we looked at all of this feedback, we did see a lot of alignment with the tourism brand, both literally with the quietly incredible slogan, but also through the kind of goals and objectives of the tourism brand of boosting visibility, increasing dwell times, as well as the overall kind of message and image of being aspiring, energetic, and welcoming. Next slide. So when we got to the design phase, we really wanted to create something that resonated with the community at large and really portrayed that image of aspiring and welcoming and energetic. We looked first at more of a rectilinear form, and then we looked at things that were really kind of unique to Kawartha Lakes and said a lot about Kawartha Lakes. Kind of the front of a canoe and that curvature there, as well as the landscape of the water meeting the shore and trees meeting the skyline. So we came up with these kind of soft curves that made this sign more friendly and approachable. We looked at integrating different shades of blue that mimic the kind of rippling water in the sky, and then brought in softer materials of wood at the base, just to, again, really soften the sign and bring some more personality into it. Next slide. As the project evolved, I will say we started with a small sign family, but it continued to expand as we kept coming back to the community feedback. we looked at or considered the user journey of arriving in the municipality. So that's that large sign that says Kawartha Lakes at the top left, and then being welcomed into each individual community, but also the journey between. So looking at vehicular directional signs, how that can direct people to parking, get them out of their cars, and start exploring on foot with pedestrian directional signs. The system really reduces ad hoc signage by giving it a single place to live and creating a single and reliable source of information. Next slide. Just kind of zooming into all of those various sign types, one of the key goals was really to strengthen the connection between communities while still respecting their individuality. So looking at the kind of municipal gateway sign and the community gateway signs, we're really unifying the communities under collective identity to strengthen the municipal connection. And then the strategy also addresses the existing gateway signs, much like what was done with Bobcaygeon, relocating, refurbishing some of those existing gateway signs that have so much identity in them, repurposing them in a more pedestrian-oriented kind of location so that people can actually approach them and interact with them longer and potentially use them as a photo opportunity. Next slide. Continuing the discussion of what has been working well, we heard a lot from the community about the event boards and the service club signs. So really just refining those signs to fit into the strategy using, it's a little harder to see here, but like a fingerboard sign as well as the individual letters for the event boards that we were seeing around communities. And then moving the service club sign to a more pedestrian-oriented location. The one thing we noticed during our audit is that there's a lot of sign proliferation. When you're entering a community, you see a community gateway sign, then you see a community event sign, then you see a service club sign, all along with all of the other ad hoc signs that businesses are putting up. It becomes quite overwhelming. You're not absorbing the information, and it is quite distracting. So by moving the service club signs to a pedestrian-oriented location and scale, people can actually interact with these longer and absorb the service clubs, understand who these service clubs are. Next slide. That's really talking about your arrival experience, but what about the in-between? The objective is really to increase dwell times by highlighting the abundance of facilities and tourism businesses that Kawartha Lakes has to offer. Also directing people to parking so that they can explore on foot to those business areas and restaurants. And same thing goes for the kind of docks and boat launches as well, getting people off of their boats and into those kind of business cores. The strategy addresses tourism facilities and how they integrate into this system. You'll notice here that the panels are kind of cut off so that businesses can be integrated or taken off of these signs. So we are proposing a cost recovery strategy to support long-term stability and predictability of asset management. Next slide. This strategy is a lot more than just the design of those signs. The strategy provides technical drawings for fabrication, guidelines for messaging, placement guidelines, procurement guidelines, as well as long-term maintenance guidelines. We really developed this in conjunction with the city to make sure that we're not creating more work, but it's fitting into existing strategies and it is viable for long-term implementation. Next slide. We also recognize that successful wayfinding requires strong governance. So the strategy outlines how different departments like economic development, communications, public works, engineering, all need to work together through planning, implementation, and ongoing maintenance to ensure the system remains accurate, coordinated, and sustainable over time. Next slide. And lastly, all of this sounds, again, well and great, but how do you implement something like this across a municipality so vast as Kawartha Lakes? We iterated this quite a lot. We wanted to make sure that we were balancing the needs of the community while also addressing the goal of boosting tourism and getting people into your community. Each phase here is estimated to take about 2 years, and we are proposing 4 phases. The first phase really sets the groundwork for the system. We're focusing on larger communities by implementing their gateway signs as well as the municipal gateway signs, and then vehicular directional signs in those larger communities as well. So that's really going to set your groundwork and start that language of the wayfinding system. Phase 2 then looks at capping off the navigational experience in those larger communities by implementing their pedestrian wayfinding. And then here we are starting to expand out into the surrounding communities by implementing their gateway signs. Phase 3 then looks at vehicular and pedestrian wayfinding for the surrounding communities. So now that arrival experience and that pedestrian navigation is integrated. And lastly, phase 4 connects all of these communities together through regional directional signs, encouraging visitors to explore beyond a single destination and experience everything Kawartha Lakes has to offer. So people may arrive in Lindsay, but then they see all the other things there is to offer in the surrounding communities, and then they spend more time navigating through Kawartha Lakes. Overall, this strategy and phase approach really creates a cohesive and recognizable identity for Kawartha Lakes. It improves navigation for residents and visitors, supports local businesses and tourism, and provides a predictable framework that can grow alongside the municipality for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you. And so before you today is this strategy for adoption. It's attached to the council report that you've got. We're asking you to consider adopting the strategy as it is, and then referring the implementation of this to the 2027 special projects budget. That special project budget did come before you in June, and while this project was contemplated in that budget, we weren't at a point in time with hard numbers, as you're seeing today, to be able to put into that budget process. So that's why it was contemplated but not reflected in that budget. So internally as staff, we've been discussing the process of going through putting this into the 2027 special project budget for council's review. What we think we've got here is a really good strategy. It's a good guideline, it's a good outline, it meets what council had directed staff to do. It looks at various strategies that have all been feeding into this. It contemplates what the community has been telling us and turns it all into a workable, strategic, coordinated direction that we can take forward. So thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation today. I'll just get a first and second to receive, and then we'll open the floor to questions. That the presentation regarding municipal and tourism wayfinding strategy be received. Mayor Elmsley, Councillor Perry, and the floor is open. Mayor Elmsley, questions?
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Through you, the one thing that kind of sticks in my craw, and I've noted, when you travel and you come along the 401 to Highway 115, there's a huge green sign that says Lindsay. After 25 years, do you think we could get the MTO to change it to City of Kawartha Lakes? So I'm just wondering if that could be part of the strategy. And as was pointed out, this is going to be at least an 8-year project. And I'm wondering, what do we feel the total cost of this will be over the 8 years?
Through you, Deputy Mayor. The MTO, to start with the MTO, we have started some discussions with the MTO regarding this project. What we're really looking for at this point, and and focusing on is signs that are located within the city of Kawartha Lakes. So that exact sign that you're talking about that says Lindsay is out of scope for this project, this strategy itself, but would make a lot of sense to include in the conversations to have with the MTO. And you'll note that one of the recommendations as well is that council of the report is that council requests the Ministry of Transportation to work collaboratively with us to be implementing this strategy. So we hear you on that, definitely. The total cost over the 8 years, there's been a very robust process of implementation. So the total cost is about $3.8 million to put all of these signs in. That sounds like a very large number, and it is a very large number. This is also a very large municipality. And when you think about community entrance signs alone, of the communities that you have in your ward, for many of you, we're looking at 4 or 5 entrance signs alone for each community. So this is a very significant project and has been developed as such.
I recognize that it's a very large project over a long period of time, and I just wanted to make sure what kind of numbers we were talking about. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Mayor Elmsley. Councillor Warren.
Through you, Deputy Mayor, thank you for the presentation. And I'm just wondering, did anybody reach out to Bobcaygeon? They've done quite they didn't mention that, and they've mentioned, I think, Fenlon, Lindsay, and Bethany. So I just wanted to know what kind of input they received from Bobcaygeon, because there are groups there that have done wayfinding signs. And so I like the idea of like a common look, but I also think there should be uniqueness in every little hamlet or village within our city. So that's where I'm coming from. I just want to know what kind of input was received from Bobcaygeon on this plan. Thank you.
Through you, Deputy Mayor. It's a great question. The communities that you heard of, Bethany, Lindsay, and Fenlon Falls, were the in-person sessions, and we chose an in-person session that was sort of one in the north, one in central, and one in the south to bring people to. So there were people from Bobcaygeon that were invited, certainly to the Fenlon Falls meeting, actually to all 3 of the meetings. We, as staff, have been working behind the scenes with chambers of commerce and different groups as they've been talking about signage, or we've been working with them about signage. And then everybody in the community, there was a broad consultation through Jump In, where people could participate through the online survey option, as well as, I will note, all the other strategies that fed into this work where there has been signage discussed was very broad-based across the whole municipality. So Bobcaygeon certainly was invited into this process. They have some really great wayfinding signs in Bobcaygeon as well. Did I answer your question? Do you want to answer further?
Kind of. I guess my issue is the uniqueness, and I like the directional signs on the highway. That I mean, we got rid of the service club signs because they were messy, in Bobcaygeon, and I think that's a good thing. Getting those to have a common look, and cleaning up inappropriate signs that are there. I'm going to be specific to the big Bobcaygeon sign in front of the municipal office. And so there was comments about moving that to some other place. And I don't think that's a good idea, just right off the bat. Bobcaygeon, hopefully through the 150th, is going to have a big Bobcaygeon sign by the canal, where you can take pictures and whatever for economic development. It's great. So just off the bat, will that sort of sign, the big Bobcaygeon sign that's probably, almost 30 years old, be replaced. Thank you. And there's money from other groups to help with that.
Through you, Deputy Mayor, thank you for the question. That specific Bobcaygeon sign is on the interior, so it's not actually currently a municipal entrance sign, so that sign would stay. What is contemplated in this strategy is the signs that as you come into a community and are just entering the community, that they are replaced with it is quite it's distinct to Kawartha Lakes, but they're very similar across all the communities. We had a very big conversation about this. It was very much part of the conversation at the community engagement sessions. And what was interesting was there was, yes, people want individuality of the community, but they also want really well-organized signs. So there's the opportunity in this model to have signs with perhaps gardens around them to make them look interesting, unique, and quite a few communities have that. Mimi certainly is probably an outstanding example of that at the moment. Or there's the opportunity for communities to have the fingerboard signs on them so that individual messaging from the community can be put in there. This strategy also contemplates that some of those signs that are looking different and unique, and we saw some of them on the slide at the very beginning, or the Bobcaygeon sign is a great example, where they have no longer have a useful life as a sign and need significant refurbishment, that there would be a place and a program of some kind to be able to take those signs and do exactly what was done with the Bobcaygeon sign and put it in front of, say, the Municipal Service Centre, and keep the sign in the community as a community asset in some form.
One more follow-up, Councillor Warren.
I just want to be clear that part of this process would work with community partners to maybe refurbish that sign. So I want to kind of yes or no. Thank you.
Thank you. And the thumbs up says yes. Councillor Ashmore.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Through you to Rebecca, thanks for the presentation. Just to echo on what Mayor Elmsley had said about, the 401, you see Lindsay and Peterborough, at least we have Lindsay on there, but on the 407, I don't even think you have, when you get off the 407 to the 115, you just have Peterborough, so there should be, that's a major route coming into the Kawartha Lakes like that. You mentioned them, it's mentioned in your information here, Ministry of Transportation, so I'm just wondering if we're communicating with them, if we could get a sign saying, come up, there's more to, we live here too, like Kawartha Lakes or Lindsay, one of those two would be good. And the second question is, just to show you a sign there, the Omimi signs there. So the Omimi signs were put there through the people of Omimi, through the funds from Omimi, their money, and the Legacy Chest Funds, and they spent thousands of dollars putting those beautiful signs there on the east and west sides of the village. And the service clubs are really important to have their names up there. Like the Lions and the Omimi Blooms, like they look after those signs. It's impeccable, like it's just spotless. And so if we're proposing uniform signs, can the people who are already looking after their specific communities they can still look after their signs because they've invested not only their funds, the community's funds, but their time, their volunteer time that they look after, and they take great pride in these signs. So just wondering if that's, we're going to work with the service clubs because I don't like seeing service club signs being taken off. Maybe the odd sign that looks pretty tired in City Kawartha Lakes, that maybe the service clubs need to have either a new sign or, but some of the existing signs are pretty nice, and they'd like to, not say keep it the way it is, but pretty close to that, and they've dedicated their time and their money to those signs, so hopefully they'll still have the respect that, that we can work with them as well.
Through you, Deputy Mayor, to the councillor, you raise a really important point, and signs are so part of a community identity, and the communities across the municipality have been involved in their signs, some significantly more than others. What I've just put up here on the slide is the sign family. And you'll see here that what is consistent across all of it is as signs get updated, because they do wear and tear and they do need to be taken down, they do need to be replaced, and we do need to have a system where we can do this really well and develop community pride as we go. The sign itself is consistent everywhere. The bases are really different. And so the bases, like the ID2, the second one along up there, is sort of modeled off the Omimi existing structure. So where there are structures, where there are communities that want to maintain structures and work with us in this way, we're certainly here to work with the communities that we serve. You'll also note, just while this is up, that there are signs that would go on existing infrastructure as well as new infrastructure. So really wanting to fit in with what exists and what's working and not replace it. Service club signs, definitely a change in this model where service club signs, to your question, rather than being at a community entrance where cars drive by really fast, there are logos, it's really hard to see them, that we would put service club signs at a pedestrian level so they're easy to see. It's much easier for the community to come and actually have a look at what service clubs are there and who's serving the community. So we think we're going to do a better job of service club signs through this model than we currently do.
Follow-up question?
Just follow up, please. One more. And the last thing is population. I know population doesn't mean everything, but I know that we've sort of been stuck on 73,000 everywhere you go. It says 73,000, and then we're close to 85,000. We're over 80,000, but would that be changed first, at least, to say that our population is increasing, it's not stagnant? Not that it means everything, but I mean, it does seem like it's been that way for the last 15, 20 years, so.
Through Deputy Mayor to the Councillor, these signs, interestingly, are not proposing to have the population on them. So rather than be defined by population, we want to be defined by who we are as a community. We'll have lots of other places where we can include population and keep it current.
Thank you very much. Councillor McDonald.
Thank you. Through you, Deputy Mayor. Thank you very much for all the work you've done on this. This is a big project for sure. As we go through all our communities and all the revitalization that has been done in every small community, I feel this is kind of a final touch, especially with wayfinding, which I know we've had conversations with wayfinding before. But I find that if I look at the graph, the wayfinding is the last thing we're going to be doing. I'm just kind of wondering why wayfinding would be the last one, because when people come into our homes or into our community, we got tourism, we got parking, and where do you go and stuff like that. And if I'm correct, is that the last part that we're going to be doing? I think.
Through you, Deputy Mayor. What we're looking at is where it's got here in phase 1, tier 1 community gateways and tier 1 vehicular directional signs. A tier 1 community in the context of this strategy is Lindsay, Fenland Falls, Bobcaygeon and Omimi, being the larger communities here. So we would be looking at, say, parking signs in phase 1 in Lindsay.
Thanks. That makes me happy. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there any other questions at this time up on the screen there? No. Maybe a comment from me. I've been, very interested in following this wayfinding for the last 8 years and seeing how this investment's really critical to our community's future. I mean, it's about navigating, creating a welcoming feeling. We've talked about some of the things that are bothering us about some of the older, older signs, and talking about things that we need for the newer ones. And, what we're doing is really just recommending the framework today on a future investment. And, we've seen some tired signs, and we want to create that uniformity because we see other municipalities that are doing this, and we want to actually do this as well. So it's good to have it in front of us today and seeing that it's going to take 8 years to get there, but we're moving in the right direction. So thank you for the presentation today. Oh, Councillor Warren's got another follow-up question. This is it.
Thank you. Through you. In the presentation, there was mention of businesses and revenue source. It was kind of quickly gone over. How would that manifest?
Through you, Deputy Mayor, thank you for the opportunity to speak to it. You know, when you drive along a provincial highway and you see the blue TOD signs on provincial roads, we're essentially building off that for something similar that can go on municipal roads. So the idea is a cost recovery, which is the way that the TOD system works on provincial roads, where it's part of a business advertising opportunity. So if you're a for-profit business that you might choose to advertise on a directional sign as part of your marketing program. Yeah.
Are we good with that? Okay, great. I don't see any other questions at this time. We did have a first and second to receive the presentation. All in favor? And that passes. We have the subsequent report, ED 2026-008, for the Municipal and Tourism Wayfinding Strategy to be received. A first and second. Councillor Yeo, Mayor Elmsley, all in favor, and that's received. Do we have any particular questions regarding that report at this time from anyone around council? Or do we cover it during the presentation? We're good? Doug, you can't hear me? Anyways,
yes,
okay.
I can.
Okay. Right, so what we'll do now is move into that the Kawartha Lakes Municipal and Tourism Wayfinding Strategy as outlined in Appendix B be adopted, that Council requests the Ministry of Transportation Ontario work collaboratively with the municipality to support the recommendations of the Municipal and Tourism Wayfinding Strategy, and that Council authorizes staff to budget for project implementation through the 2027 Special Projects Budget Process. Can I have a first and second? Councillor McDonald, Councillor Doble, all those in favor? And that passes. Thank you. Okay, we're moving into 9 on the agenda, which is the Planning Advisory Committee. There's no extractions today, so if I can have a mover or seconder that the minutes of the Planning Advisory Committee meeting of July 8th, 2026 be received and the recommendations included section 9.3 of the agenda be adopted. First and second. Councillor Doble, Councillor Perry, all those in favor? Okay, and that passes. We're moving into consent matters. I believe, Councillor Ashmore, you have that.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Doble, that all the proposed resolutions shown in section 10.1 of the agenda be approved and adopted by Council in the order that they appear on the agenda and subsequently numbered, save and except for 10.1.1, driving school enforcement options, 10.1.2, rooming house, high occupancy homes, 10.1.3, Kings Wharf Road, change in scope, and 10.1.4, construction of Cedartree Lane. Carried by myself and moved by myself and Councillor Doble.
Great, thank you for that. So we'll move right into 10.1.1, what's ML 2026-001. Councillor McDonald, you have this extracted.
Yes, thank you, through you, Deputy Mayor. Yes, I got this extracted. This was a follow-up by yourself,
Whoops,
Deputy.
I got to put you on pause. I was supposed to say all in favor on that last one for Councillor Ashman's. Okay, and that passes. Thank you. So now over to you. You can start fresh. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, this is a follow-up from actually yourself, Deputy Mayor, to report to staff. So I have a resolution here. If I could get a second, I'd like to talk about it.
Councillor Doble.
Yeah, so this goes back, we've had a number of concerns raised over the years by residents and council, which are valid and they should be addressed. Currently, during the driving school operation in the city of Kawartha Lakes, it's unregulated by the municipal bylaw, but it is registered through the province. But back in 2007, again in 2016, it came to council, but it wasn't adopted. But I think it's time that we look at this due to the complaints that we have been receiving. So I got a resolution to bring to council if anybody else has any questions or wants to talk about it.
Okay, well, first we'll receive the report, ML 2026-001, driving school enforcement options be received. First by Councillor McDonald, second by Councillor Doble. And if you have your follow-up resolution, go right ahead.
The follow-up is that the staff be directed to develop a business case and licensing program to regulate driving school operators and provide recommendation to council by the end of Q2 2027.
And if we have a seconder, you can speak to it. Councillor Warren, go ahead. It's your floor.
Oh, okay. I think I kind of pointed out before there basically why we're doing this and with the concerns that we're having, and it's brought to council a few times before. So I think this would be a good way to start to have a look at this and see if that is needed and see if we can provide a license program to regulate this in the city of Kawartha Lakes.
Voting on received and then on the follow-up.
Right, okay. I'm just going to maybe weigh in. Oh, Councillor Ashmore, did you? Okay, I just want to be received first. All in favor? Okay, and any questions to the resolution at this time? Councillor Ashmore, did you have one?
Just a question through you, Deputy Mayor, to the manager of bylaw enforcement. I just had a question. It's mentioned about licensing and insurance. So these driving schools, just reading the report, but they are registered, they're licensed, and obviously they're insured. You can't have a vehicle on the road without insurance. Is that correct? And as far as your research goes, like there's quite a few of them, but I mean, they have to abide by provincial law. Is that correct? As they go into every community in Ontario?
Yes, through the Deputy Mayor to the Councillor, that's correct. The province has mandatory requirements and as well as the Highway Traffic Act around mandatory insurance.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I mean, if a report's okay, I just, you know, we have a lot of people that do come into specifically Lindsay from outside of the area. They want to learn how to drive. I know when I was 1980, when I was after I got my license, the year after I went to Oshawa we went to Oshawa with my co-students and my trainer and my instructor. So, you know, we had professionals that would teach us how to drive. Now, a lot of these particular people, you know, who are recent immigrants to Canada, they have to learn, and they have to learn in any situation. This is why they come to Lindsay, I believe, is because it is less traffic. But I'm okay with the report. See what comes out of the report and go from there. But just thought I'd put that out there.
Thank you, Councillor Ashmore, and I'm clearly supporting the report, bringing the memo in the first place. You know, the report clearly confirms that the city does have the authority to regulate and license driving schools, and the municipal licensing framework could address many of the concerns that we are hearing and being raised by our local residents regarding traffic impacts, safety, and repeated use of neighborhood roads. So I think this is important that we move forward with this and see what we get out of it. So if we have a first and second for the resolution at this time, Councillor McDonald, Councillor Dorval, is that correct? All in favor? And that passes. Thank you. Moving into 10.1.2, ML 2026-003, Councillor Dorval, the rooming house and high occupancy homes you have extracted, sir.
Thank you. Yes, I would like to move that report ML 2026-003 be received, and that council direct staff to proceed with option 2 of the report by developing a rooming house and shared housing licensing program, and that staff prepare a draft licensing bylaw, associated licensing fees, inspection program, enforcement procedures, and any required amendments to municipal bylaws, and that staff report back to council with a business case and draft bylaw no later than the regular council meeting on September 22nd, 2026.
Okay, what we'll do first is we'll receive the report ML 2026-003, rooming house high occupancy homes, be received to first and second. Councillor Doble, Councillor Warren, all in favor. You've put your resolution on the floor. Is there any comments or questions at this time? Or would you like to just give us an update first?
Do I have a seconder for my?
I need a seconder. Councillor Warren.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor, on October 21st, 2025, I moved the following motion, seconded by then Deputy Mayor McDonald and carried by council, that the deputation of Emma Eakin regarding concerns related to student boarding houses be received, and that staff report back to council in Q2 2026 regarding the potential licensing of various high occupancy housing types, as well as any appropriate changes to zoning requirements that may be necessary to ensure the safety and quiet enjoyment of residents both within the housing unit and immediate residential neighborhood. That motion was passed. It was my hope and expectation that a draft licensing bylaw would have been part of the report that we have just received, and I apologize for not making myself sufficiently clear in my motion last October as to my expectations. Mrs. Emma Eakin appeared before council in a deputation that day, accompanied by a large number of residents, and spoke passionately about the concerns of residents in the area of the north part of Lindsay and the need for better controls. That same day, I emphasized that the purpose of such licensing was to ensure the health, safety, and well-being of the actual occupants of these residences, as well as to contribute to the quiet enjoyment of the neighboring residents in the immediate vicinity. It is important that these occupants are not subjected to discrimination or exploitation by virtue of their occupancy, and there is no desire to restrict or prohibit any class of persons from occupying any dwelling unit, and any zoning changes should not restrict or prohibit any class of persons from any type of dwelling units. Subsequent to this council meeting in October, I had multiple conversations with staff and provided materials and information from several other municipalities who have successfully implemented licensing. I also provided a report from the Ontario Human Rights Tribunal, and I know that Manager Sloan has conducted research as well, including a survey of Kawartha Lakes residents. In speaking to Manager Sloan late last week, he confirmed that having conducted this research, along with the materials that I have provided, that a draft licensing bylaw could be prepared for council's consideration, possibly as early as our August council meeting, but certainly no later than the September 22nd, 2026 date that I have put in today's motion. Deputy Mayor, this matter is of great importance to Lindsay residents. Councillor McDonald and I regularly receive inquiries as to where we are at with the licensing of high occupancy housing. This is a matter of safety and protection, and it's important that we put this in place as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councillor Warren, being a seconder, you have anything to add at this time?
I understand that a bylaw was talked about, so it makes sense that we should move forward with a bylaw. So thank you for bringing this forward.
Okay, we have questions. Mayor Elmsley.
Thank you. And through you, Deputy Mayor, perhaps a question to Manager Sloan. This is the second report we're asking for about licensing, and I'm concerned that with licensing, are we going to be talking about additional hires and additional bylaw people to go and investigate all of these things? And will that be part of the report?
Through the deputy mayor to the mayor, that's a great question. So that's the unknown piece of this. we at current, we don't have a full idea of the numbers of these type of lodgings. So part of the additional research that's going to be needed in that business plan is to identify, draft the bylaw, and then look at it from through the lens of staffing and budget needs. So there's a little bit of an unknown piece of it that still needs further research.
Thank you. I'm not opposed to getting a report back and a draft bylaw, but I think we need to be sure about how much it's going to cost us.
Thank you, Mayor Elmsley. Any other questions off the floor right now? I don't see any. Councillor Dobel, did you want to sum up?
Thank you. I appreciate the question, but for me, right now I'm looking for a draft bylaw. The actual implementation I recognize is step 2, but the added cost of staffing, while it's something we need to know and it's good to estimate, that should not stop us from passing a bylaw that needs to be passed. So I'd still urge you to that we need to proceed and develop this.
Understood. I understand where you're coming from, but if we put a bylaw in, we still have to enforce it. So that's probably where those comments are coming from.
I understand where they're coming from, but I just want to make that point that that shouldn't stop us from.
Yep. That's fine. I'm just going to let CEO here, Taylor does want to have something to clarify at this time.
Through the chair, and thank you for that. I think the report speaks to similar sort of timing and bringing it forward. It recommends bringing that forward to the new council. Certainly appreciate the urgency for a bylaw potentially being in place. The issue, though, is that council would be adopting a bylaw in this timeline in September, and it does have budget implications. And you don't have the authority in this current sort of calendar year to make budget changes. And so we can bring forward a demonstrated bylaw, but ultimately, I think to the mayor's point as well, there will be resources needed to implement the program. And that's going to be through a 2027 budget consideration. So the rationale for this and even the previous licensing program topic was to bring it early in the new term of council. Concurrent, we would be embedding into the 2027 budget planning the necessary resources in alignment with that research. So I would just respectfully recommend, if we bring something back in September, it would just simply be for demonstration to this current council. Adopting a new program will have some budget implications, so we may have to phase it further. So I would still recommend that it go to the new council. Otherwise, we're more than prepared to do the work in the follow-up resolution.
Councillor Dobel, I see you thinking. Do you want to just read that resolution one more time so we're all familiar?
Sure. The council directs staff to proceed with option 2 of the report by developing a rooming house and shared housing licensing program, that staff prepare a draft licensing bylaw, associated licensing fees, inspection program, enforcement procedures, and any required amendments to municipal bylaws, and that staff report back to council with a business case and a draft bylaw no later than the regular council meeting on September 22nd, 2026.
And our seconder was Councillor Warren, I believe, on that. So all in favor? And that passes. Okay, moving into 10.1.3, Engineering 2026-023. Councillor Ashmore, I believe you have this extracted.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Just a few things here. I'll move as printed. I just wanted to sort of give a few thanks to how this chain of events happened here back in last year. Of course, the people of Kings Wharf Road, this road's a 10-kilometer road. It's a long road. And it hasn't been resurfaced since about 1993. And there's definitely a lot of issues on that road, big time. And the original scope was to do just the eastern half, but now we're going to be expanding it into the western half, which is great. And I just wanted to thank Director Bukaboom for helping me get it to the budget. And thanks to council for approving it. I want to thank Councillor McDonald. He put a lot of work into this. He met the people there as well, on my behalf as well, and we worked hard to get this done as well, being there. I want to thank him for that, because this is an example. If we have roads, in this example, we brought it ahead in the queue by 2 years. It wasn't going to be even looked at or dealt with at least until 2028, so we're 2 years earlier, which is great. We're going to start on it, and I think it's a great example of us working together around the budget table and getting this resolved and moving it up in the queue quicker. So just wanted to thank everybody involved, and I could just move I'll move the, should I read it out or just move it as is?
Well, it's just the report engineering 2026-023 Kings Wharf Road change in scope be received by Councillor Ashmore, seconder by Councillor McDonald. No other comments at this time? All in favor? And that's received. Thank you. 10.1.4 engineering 2026-024 construction of Cedartree. Oops.
Did they include the second recommendation in that last one? Because it was just received, I thought.
For Councillor Ashmore's?
Yeah, it's as printed, right? It shouldn't be just received. It should be this.
Sorry, folks, I missed something on there, so I'll just throw that out there. The staff be directed to change the scope of 2026 capital project 98320-0424 Kings Wharf Road from Sturgeon Road to Pigeon Lake Road, to amend it to now read Kings Wharf Road from Sturgeon Road to Heights Road. So first and second on that. Councillor Ashmore, Councillor McDonald, all those in favor? Perfect. Thank you for that housekeeping. So moving into 10.1.4, engineering 2026-024, construction of Cedartree Lane. Councillor Warren, you have that extracted.
Thank you. Through you, Deputy Mayor. Just some questions and comments for staff. This has been a very difficult development for the people who are on Cedartree, because many things are happening all at once. Development at the end of their street, utilities coming in, and bridge. So they've really had a difficult time with the development going forward. So just a question, will the sidewalks be finished this year in the section that's been, we've actually, what's the word? That we have allowed.
Through you, Deputy Mayor, to the councillor. So the need
assumed, sorry. Yeah, so there's an area that's being assumed, and so I want to make sure that all the utilities and everything's going to be done by the end of this year, because they've been living in quite a mess for a while.
Through you, Deputy Mayor, the need for the change in the scope is due to the fact we've completed the project on Birch Crescent, which is a former development that the city had to take over and finish the works, and we completed the project with a surplus. So now, with the remaining section of Cedartree from Birch Crescent up to number 64 Cedartree, we're looking at rescoping the funds and applying it to Cedartree for the reconstruction of the road, curb and gutter, and sidewalk, as you pointed out, on the south side. The intent is to do a change, if approved, do a change order to the existing contract for the contractor, who's Drain Brothers, to be able to start the works and ideally complete them this fall. But first, we'll ensure that the utilities are completed and out of the way. Right now, Hydro is finishing restoration. They had to upgrade their services for the part of the new subdivision to the east, as well as gas is finishing installation. There could be still some gas installations left to happen on Cedartree next year for home services. However, the top coat of asphalt would be left off. It would be just the surface coat. That way it would give time for Enbridge to complete any home servicing.
Thank you. I just wanted to be assured of that. I've had lots of complaints from people down that way. So as long as the sidewalks are done this year, they'll be happy. So I'll move the recommendations.
Okay, so the report engineering 2026-024 construction of Cedar Lane be received. Councillor
Yes.
Warren, seconder by Councillor Yeo. All those in favor? And the remainder of that as printed.
Yes.
Moved by Councillor Warren, seconder by Councillor Perry. All in favor? And that passes. Thank you. Okay, moving right along. No other extractions in consent at this time. Moving into petitions, 11.1 CC 2026-10-11-1, petition regarding requests for the installation of coniferous trees on city-owned land located behind Primeau Crescent. A copy of the petition with 21 signatures is available for viewing at the clerk's office. Jeff Van Ginkel, and I believe Councillor McDonald, do you want to speak to that?
Yes, thank you very much, through you, Deputy Mayor. Actually, we heard the story earlier and so on, and we also realize that there's some options out there that are available. So I would like to send this back to staff for a report on the options available, because there is a few that we could choose from. And based on the fact that it might have some budget considerations, I'm going to ask if we could back to Q2 2027, because it might have some budget considerations that, unless anybody wants to do it earlier, I'd be more than happy to hear that.
I'm not seeing anything at this time. Okay, so that the petition from Jake Van Ginkel regarding a request for the installation of coniferous trees on city-owned land located behind Primeau Crescent be reviewed and received to staff for review and report back to council in Q2 2027. And that's first by Councillor McDonald, seconder by Mayor Elmsley. All those in favor? And that passes. Thank you. Second petition is CC 2026-10-11.2 regarding request for resurfacing on Leslie Frost Lane. A copy of the petition with 26 signatures available for viewing at the city's clerks, and that's Patricia Butts, and I believe Councillor Ashmore, you want to speak to that.
Yeah, thank you, Deputy Mayor. I just wanted to receive this, thank the petitioners for putting it together there, and if I could perhaps refer it back to staff or just engineering staff, Manager Farquhar, maybe if I could ask Manager Farquhar through you when the time frame is for that particular lane, Leslie Frost Lane in Pleasant Point would be, if he has any idea, or whether we could move it up a bit in the 5-year roads plan, if possible.
Manager Farquhar?
Through you, Deputy Mayor, to the councillor. Currently, my understanding, Leslie Frost is not identified in our long-term forecast under the rural resurfacing program. Okay. We are currently performing our roads needs study. ACOM is the consultant who will be doing the analysis of our road network for condition evaluation. Based on that information, we would then bring forward a report to council outlining what we see as priorities for the next long-term forecast update.
Thank you for that. And usually at this time, petitions are referred back to staff. So if you have a resolution or you want me to read one, that would be fine.
I'm okay with your resolution to refer it back.
Okay.
Yeah,
so the petition for Patricia Butts regarding requests for the resurfacing of Leslie Frost Lane be received and referred to staff for review and report back to council in Q2 2027. Moved by Councillor Ashmore, seconded by Councillor Perry. All those in favor? Okay, and that passes. Thank you. Under 12, we are moving into other and new business. At this time, there's a memorandum regarding a support for permanent doubling of the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund, OCIF, funding grants. Mayor Elmsley, this is you. Floor is yours.
Just very briefly, Madam Deputy Mayor, the memorandum is just as it states, and it is a support memorandum for the doubling of the OCIF grant, and it was brought forward by the Municipal Finance Officers Association, and it is just as it reads, that the city support the Municipal Finance Officers Association letter to the Ministry of Infrastructure requesting that the doubling of the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund be made permanent in advance of the allocations for the 2027 calendar year, and that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, the Minister of Finance, and our local MPP, Laurie Scott. I'm happy to move that and would look for a seconder.
Thank you. And a seconder at this time, Councillor Yeo. All in favor? And that passes. Thank you very much. Moving into 13, our bylaws. I believe, Councillor Doble, you have that.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor McDonald, that the bylaws shown in section 13.1 of the agenda, namely items 13.1.1, 2, and including 13.1.24, be read a first, second, and third time, passed, numbered, signed, and the corporate seal attached.
Thank you. All in favor? And that passes. Oh, I need a seconder, sorry. Who was the seconder signed that?
Councillor McDonald.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so at this time, we're moving right along the agenda. We're moving into closed session. Item 15.1, motion to adopt the closed session agenda. Can I get a mover and seconder for the following motion, that the closed session agenda be adopted as circulated? Moved by Councillor Warren, seconded by Councillor Ashmore. All those in favor? That carries. Okay, and item 15.2, disclosure of pecuniary interest in closed session items. Are there any disclosure of pecuniary interest of any items listed on the closed session agenda today? I don't see any. Okay, item 16.3, we are moving into closed session. At this point, the meeting, City Council will go into closed session to consider the items under section 15.3 of the agenda. As per our procedure bylaw requirements, I'm asking all electronic participants in our meeting today to confirm to me by raising their hands that they're in a private room where no other persons can overhear the deliberations and that the internet connection is secure and not publicly accessible. Hands?
I'm just going to move on to a secure connection, Deputy Mayor.
Okay, Councillor Yeo? Perfect, thank you. Can I get a mover and a second for the following motion, that council convene into closed session at 3:02 p.m. pursuant to the section 2392 of the Municipal Act in order to consider matters identified in section 15.3 of the regular council meeting agenda of Tuesday, July 21st, 2026, namely items 15.3.1, 2 and including 15.3.2. A mover and a seconder. Councillor McDonald, Councillor Doble, all those in favor, and that's carried. Okay, at this point, the meeting broadcast will now end for members of the public watching on Cogeco YouTube, your TV cable. The live stream of the meeting on YouTube and the rebroadcast will now be temporarily paused for members of the public. When closed session is complete, the live stream and rebroadcast of the meeting will resume to address the remaining open session items on the agenda. All remaining staff, with exception those involved with closed session, are now instructed to leave electronic meeting and council chambers at this time. And we will take a 5-minute recess, maybe 10. Thank you. Thank you. If I can have the clerk's report from closed at this time.
Through you, Deputy Mayor Richardson. Matters from closed, item 15.3.1, the confidential closed session minutes for the regular council meeting of June 23rd, 2026 were approved. Item 15.3.2, council provided direction on the 2025 Be a Hero, Environmental Hero, Environmental Business Hero, and Environmental Student Hero Award recipients. And that is all.
Thank you very much for that. At this time, the confirming bylaw, I believe, Councillor Warren, you have that?
I do, through you. Moved by myself, second by Councillor McDonald, that a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of a regular council meeting held Tuesday, July 21st, 2026, be read a first, second, third time, passed, numbered, signed, and the corporate seal attached.
Thank you, and all in favor? And that's received. And down to our last item today, which is adjournment. So can I have a first and second on adjournment? Councillor Doble, Councillor Yo, all in favor? And we're done. Thank you very much. Done and dusted.